Sleepo. We've got Addams Family today from Bally, 1992, and this one is going to Pinball Garage in Hamilton, Ohio. I'm going to take you through everything that we did on this one, so when you make a trip up there to play it and enjoy it, you'll get to just check it out and see what it did. So let's get started. So when we first got the game, one of the first things that I noticed is that just overall it was dark. It was hard to see where the ball was going, especially in the back underneath the ramps. Just dark near the pop bumpers. That general area was just dark. It was dirty, but it wasn't super filthy, but you know, it's typical dirt. But the issue with the lights was definitely a big deal. Actually, even in the back box, half of the GI strings of lights were not coming on at all. It turns out that, you know, again, a pretty typical problem. The main connector that drives those carries a lot of current, a lot of load for all those incandescent bulbs that are in the back for the connector that's there, and it fries it over time. So it was pretty well cooked, and it just was not making good connections. So the connector was rebuilt. That was addressed. Also underneath the play field, there were a couple switches not working correctly, and a solenoid that was pretty trashed. So starting down at the end of the game here, the apron was not repainted. However, new decals were put over the worn out areas, and there was of course new player cards that were created and added in. There's trough lighting that was added to lighten up this whole general area. Of course, all of the bands were replaced with the Titan silicone bands, so they should hopefully last a good long time and perform well. Of course, all of the bulbs were replaced. Every bulb was put in with an LED, mostly warm whites everywhere, because it just didn't want to make this look too overly crazy with color, or just something that didn't just look compatible with this type of game. The only place that we did keep incandescent bulbs were the white or clear flashers that are here. There's also a clear one in the back. The problem with the LEDs on this game in particular for flashers, the 8 SMD flashers that Comet sells are great flashers, but for this game it's just too intense, just way too bright. The red flashers actually still are red LED flashers. It's still bright, but it's not overly bright, so I left those instead of switching over the incandescents, because there's sort of a balance on how much you really want to pop. Okay, moving right along here, there was an LED strip that was added here, but it was put on a bracket to actually aim it more towards the playfield. This was one of these trial and error things, and when I originally had put it in place, it was in place of just a single bulb, laid it on the bottom plastic and had it shining up. Well, the problem was that it was glaring off of the side walls, and once you see it, it starts to bug you. So I built just a small little bracket that repositions that light strip to shoot it towards the playfield and help light that area out without glaring in the face of the player. The pop bumpers, they were rebuilt to a degree. Parts of them were. It wasn't a full-on rebuild, but I did take some of them apart and to clean pieces of it up, like the actual ring was polished underneath. The new caps, and as you'll see, I tried this time something a little different. Comet has these pop bumper lights that are good at lighting up both the bottom of it and the top. Again, the whole idea with trying to lighten up this dark area, that was why we went with this. It chose not to go with the larger ring lights, mainly because at first it was going to be a problem in this top pop bumper, because the original one has a cutaway. That one ended up breaking, so I was not able to use it, so I had to go back to just a standard clear one. However, it turned out fine, and I think it's perfect for this game. The chair, this was repainted. This was the original chair, but it was all painted up with just some extra artwork to make it just look nicer. The LEDs that went in here, these are some of these Op Max from Comet that just, since these bulbs are shooting to the sides and I didn't want to put the little socks that go over them, I thought it would look kind of strange. I tried using this and it actually looks pretty nice. I did try putting in some flex bulbs at first and it just wasn't working. It just didn't look right. Again, it's a trial and error thing. Over on the right hand side, I did put a little bit of color in without going too nuts. But I've lit up that whole swamp area with a green light strip. And so from the player's perspective, you'll see just that whole green lit up area there. There's some couple flex lamps over here to help light up this area. I think I added in an extra lamp up in this upper section here. There were a couple lamps that were added here to help light up this whole bookcase and vault area. So you'll see that there was an actual bookcase that was added to this. The decal that goes underneath the bottom to try to cover up that blue plastic and instead give that stone type of look that matches the artwork that was leading up to it. There's a plastic book that goes over the lights here that's next to the vault. Here in the back we've got, for the thing lights, there's also a piece of plastic that says thing that kind of neatens that up. In the right back corner, added in actual little foam that goes over this flasher. So that was done. The thing box, a decal over to cover up just the original red that was there, just kind of looks out of place, that red. So this looks more like this leather box, and the thing hand was actually repainted. And actually, I'll show you that come out here, just here. Take a look at this. Yeah, you can see it come up and grab the ball and bring it back down. So another thing I'll mention that you've probably already noticed is that this game actually had the blades added in. So these decals that go along the sides, both on the right-hand side and left-hand side, and actually one here in the back. For this game, it just seemed to really kind of make it all hugged in, extends the artwork out. I think it turned out real nice. Added in a 20-inch long light strip that goes in the back, again with the whole focus of trying to make this game brightened up and just easier to see the dark spots. So focusing on the back box now, let's tear into that, take a peek. Translight, set it aside. So of course all the bulbs are replaced with LEDs. It did cool light, or I guess you call it the natural light, for most of them. Some of them are clear to try to accentuate that lightning bolt, and some of them were frosted where it made sense. And then a few places actually put warm bulbs, because of the artwork. You just have to sort of do a trial and error, and that's what seemed to work well there. Let's open up on the inside. There were capacitors that were replaced. The 5 main capacitors that are all on this board, they were actually these 5 big ones here, plus this smaller one. They're known to go bad, so just preemptively replace them. To go along with all the LEDs to take out the flicker, this game did get the OCD LED boards. That's this here that controls about the GI lights. It smooths them out, takes out a lot of the flicker. And then this is the OCD LED board for all of the playfield controlled lamps. Up here at the top, the cloud, the topper, did build a bracket and a light strip that lights up this whole Addams Family area. And there's a cable here that is coming from, actually tied into some lighting here, the flasher circuit. This connector here can be at will connected or disconnected if this feature is not really liked, but it goes down to underneath the cabinet to do a little bonus effect that I had an idea for. So the way this game normally works, at a certain point in the game, there's lightning that flashes inside the cloud. And from a player's perspective, you don't really see that lightning. And it's not super bright, but the thing is it's really out of your peripheral vision. You don't notice it. You're focusing on the playfield, you're looking down. So to extend that effect, there were some light strips that were added underneath the cabinet, and they flash, and they're tied to the flashers here. So I'll demonstrate that here when we play it in just a little bit. Okay, moving along with the cabinet. So one thing, on these rails, they were scrubbed down. We were going to replace them at first, but after going over them pretty well with some Scotch-Brite, it turns out that that it all cleaned up just fine. There were some marks that were really hard to get off, but they went away. The lock bar was scrubbed down. Basically, it's rebrushed. Think of it that way. It's taken out some of the defects. The coin door, my goodness. Okay, so there was a label here that was pretty tough to get off, but by removing that and just lightly scrubbing it down, this whole coin door was repainted. The one thing I noticed that originally was that there was nothing lit up here, which is, okay, not that big of a deal. Well, I opened up the coin door, taking a peek on the inside, and let's see if we can get over here so you can see a little better look. Okay, so yeah, there were no lights here at all. In fact, the light holders were gone, but there was also no wiring there, and no wiring to the switches for the coin mix. And the wiring that was down here went from this side over to this side, which is not how it's supposed to be at all for both connectors. And strangely, one of the wires that would be driving a lamp was connected to a switch. Long story short, there was a lot of stuff that was just weird and kind of jacked up. So I had to basically recreate the wiring to tie in all the stuff that was broken. So that's now good and solid and all done. A new speaker was put into the lower part of the cabinet, and again, just everything just generally cleaned out. All right, let's give it a shot.
Welcome, honored guest. Fumes, toxic waste, it's all ours. Let's go, let's go. Have a nice swim. Great. Straight to the wall. Go, man. Why, thank you, Bing.
All right, let's see if we can get multiple arrangement for either the vaults or for the chair. Both red lights.
Go, man.
It's ball two. We got one more ball.
Quicksand, fumes, toxic waste, it's all ours. This old man, this old man. Now you've done it.